Welcome to this lesson on writing and graphing inequalities. Please make sure you have these notes in front of you so we can begin our lesson. And my students, let's make sure we update our table of contents. The learning objective for today says I can write an inequality to represent a real-world problem. The vocabulary word that you've learned already is called inequality. And unlike equations, inequalities have more than one solution. So let's recap what the symbols for the inequalities look like. This is the less than symbol. And some keywords for less than are fewer than and below. And to graph an inequality, you're going to use an open circle on a number, and you're going to shade everything to the left of that number, because all the numbers to the left are less than. The next symbol is the greater than symbol. And keywords that mean greater than are more than and above. And on a graph, you're going to use an open circle to identify that number, and everything to the right of that number will be a solution, where everything to the right of that number is greater than. The next symbol is the less than or equal to sign. And keywords for less than or equal to are at most and no more than. On a graph, you would use a solid circle to identify the less than or equal to symbol, and you're going to shade everything to the left of that number, because everything to the left is less than, and it's solid. There's a solid circle because the solid circle stands for equal to. The last symbol is the greater than or equal to symbol, and some keywords for this symbol are at least and no less than. The graph would be shown with a solid circle on a number line, and you would shade everything to the right of that circle, because everything to the right of that circle means it's greater than. The solid circle means that it's equal to. So let's look at some of these real-life problems. We're going to look at the situations below and circle the numbers that are possible answers for each situation. So for number 1, it says Jessica spent more than $5 at the arcade. So I've circled every single number that is more than $5. And notice I did not circle the 5 because 5 is not more than 5. On the second problem, it says less than 6 people rang the bell on the mallet game. A mallet is a large hammer that you use to swing. So I went and I circled all the numbers that are less than 6. Notice I did not circle 6 because 6 is not less than 6. The third one says there were less than 10 people in line for the Ferris wheel. I went ahead and I circled every single number that was less than 10, and I did not circle number 10. And it says less than, so everything less than 10. If you notice, every single one of these problems, which are inequality problems, have multiple answers. So let's use these key concepts to discuss the following examples. For example 1, it says write an inequality for each sentence. So in words, it says you must be over 12 years old to ride the go-karts. So I'm going to use the variable y to represent you, because that's what the problem is talking about. And then I'm going to underline the word over, because that's a key word that says that it has to be more than 12 years. And my inequality will be written as you need to be greater than 12 years old to ride the go-karts. Let's graph this problem. I'm going to use 0 on my number line, and 12 will be on the right side of 0. I'm going to use an open circle to identify where the starting point is going to go, but it's not going to be solid because 12 is not part of the solution. And then I'm going to shade everything to the right of 12 because everything to the right of 12 is equal to it. I can't say 12 is less than 12. That's not a true statement. That's the reason why we have an open circle. But if I pick any number to the right of 12, like 13, 13 is greater than 12, so that's a true statement. Anything to the left of 12, like 0, 0 is greater than 12, that is a false statement. Example 2 says, write an inequality for each sentence. So in words, we have a pony is less than 14 2/10 hands tall. So for my variable, I'm going to use P, which should stand for the pony. And to write the inequality, we need to underline the keyword, which is less than. And I'm going to write the pony needs to be less than 14 2/10. So on a graph, we're going to put 0 on the number line, and 14 2/10 would go on the right-hand side of it. And let's use an open circle to identify where our starting point is going to go. And it's not going to be closed because there's no equal to sign here. And I'm going to select or shade everything to the left of 14 2/10. And everything to the left of 14 2/10 is a possible solution. Now, because we are talking about a real-life problem, the blue line is pretty much the stopping point as where our solutions would stop, because a pony cannot be negative hands tall. So once again, anything to the left of 14 2/10 could be an answer. Anything to the right of 14 2/10 cannot be an answer. And 14 2/10 is not less than 14 2/10, which is why we have an open circle. For example 3, it says write an inequality for each sentence. In words, it says you must be at least 16 years old to have a driver's license. So I'm going to use the variable y to represent you, because that's what the problem is talking about. And then I'm going to underline the word at least. So I'm going to write the inequality like this. You have to be at least, if you remember from the key concepts, it's the greater than or equal to symbol that represents at least. So you have to be at least 16 years old to have a driver's license. So that's the inequality. Let's go ahead and graph it for the solutions. So I'm going to have a 16 on the right-hand side of 0. Put a solid dot on 16 because now we're dealing with a greater than or equal to symbol. And I'm going to shade everything to the right of 16, which means anything from 16 and above could be a solution. Anything to the left of 16 cannot be a solution. So when I say solution, just plug in any number on the right-hand side of 16. So for example, 17 is on the right-hand side of it. 17 is greater than or equal to 16. That is a true statement. Let's pick a number on top of 16, which is 16. 16 is greater than or equal to 16. That's a true statement. That's the reason why we have a solid circle in 16, because it's a true statement. And anything to the left of 16 cannot work, like 15. 15 is greater than or equal to 16. That's a false statement. So pause the video, complete the Got It problems, and we'll discuss this answer in class tomorrow. Notice there are 4 Got It problems on this slide. Got It problem A, B, C, and D. Give us an inequality for each, and give us a graph for each. For example 4, it says the traffic on a residential street can travel at a speed of no more than 25 miles per hour. Write and graph an inequality to describe the possible speed on this street. So they're asking us to graph an inequality, and I see the keywords no more than. If you remember back from the key concepts, the no more than symbol looks like this inequality, the less than or equal to symbol. So I'm going to identify the variable as t, and t is going to stand for traffic. And our inequality is going to say traffic cannot be more than 25 miles per hour. So on a graph, we're going to start with 0 here, and we're going to place 25 on the right-hand side of 0. We're going to have a solid circle because traffic can be 25 miles. It just can't be more than that. So everything to the left of 25 could be a solution. Notice there can't be negative speeds, so we're pretty much going to stop our answers at 0. But in Math World, we can continue our line past the 0, but in this real-life problem, we're going to stop it at 0. So everything to the left of 0 could be a possible solution. So let's try and picking some numbers. Let's try picking anything to the left like 1. 1 is less than or equal to 25. That's a true statement. Let's pick the number 25 since it has a solid circle. 25 is less than or equal to 25. That's a true statement. That's why we have a solid circle. Let's try picking a number to the right of it, like 50. 50 is less than or equal to 25. That is a false statement. So anything to the left of 25 could be an answer, including 25. So pause the video and complete the got it problem, and we'll discuss this answer in class tomorrow. So we've just completed the lesson. Go ahead and self-rate yourself and let us know how you feel. If there's any part of this lesson that you do not understand, please go back and watch it again. Also come to class with some questions so we can discuss it in further detail.